Hi, everybody, at Point Grey Golf and Country Club, home for the PG Financial Open for this event. And of course, Jeff, you are the pro at this event, not in more than one way. Tell us about what Point Grey has to offer for everybody.
Oh, well, like I said, we got very fortunate with the weather this week. Great weather, not only this week, but leading in for probably the last month or so. So the course has probably never been better. It's a great opportunity to showcase the club because it is a great golf course, maybe understated. It gave up a 61 yesterday, but other than that, it's kind of held its own. I think the low score other than that's maybe 6 under, which is great. But like I said, the members were all for the event, and it's kind of nice for the club to give back to golf in general in the Vancouver area.
A lot of history with this club. What can you tell me about the club as far as the history dating back to it?
Yeah. The club's we're coming up on the 100th anniversary here in 2022, which we're going to hold the Canadian Amateur then. But for the most part, great sort of club history. We used to have the BC Open back sort of in the 90s, and that's where kind of this tournament evolved from. Is that we were going to give up the course for 3 more years, and for the most part, it's kind of getting back to the BC Open days of hosting a Canadian Tour event.
Yeah, and it's nice to have a lot of Canadians on board to come out and take part in the event this week.
Yeah, a lot of great young guys, and I say like Eugene Wong and Mr. Clapp are doing great jobs at kind of giving us a chance for a local winner this week, which is kind of nice as well.
Why is it when you look at some of the golfers in BC, you look at Adam Hadwin, that's the one that name is pretty synonymous to the young golfers coming up through the circles right now. What is it about BC golf that really allows our golfers to sort of excel in the sport?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think the 12-month season definitely. I mean, even though there's probably a good 6 months there where it's really not kind of practical tournament conditions, but it gets the club in their hands all year round compared to the guys back east. Even though you look at, there's a lot of great players from back east in Canada as well too, considering they only have access to a golf course probably 6-7 months a year, right? But like I said, the BC boys are in the past have produced a lot of great players. Yeah.
We've talked to some of the people here in the first part of the week earlier on when everybody was just out for the practice rounds about the simple fact that the history of the course. One gentleman was telling us he's been involved. He said he was a member, he said, for over 50 years. He said, I've seen a lot of changes. If there's one change that you see that sort of stands out in your mind that the course has gone through, what would it be?
Maybe back like even I'm thinking probably mid-90s. It was quite wet. We had a great sanding program where we put down probably 2.5 to 4 inches of sand a year to try to help dry out. The golf course sits below sea level, so it's a bit challenging that way. But for the most part, Frank Vargas, our superintendent, does a great job at trying to keep it as dry as possible, leading into summer as well as in the wintertime as well. But for the most part, I'd say maybe the biggest change is we've gone to kind of maybe more of a parkland golf course, where some of the tree canopies have been brought up a little bit, so you get vistas between holes and seeing a little bit more hole to hole. Where back in the 90s, it was basically the trees were right to the ground, and it was very sort of more like a claustrophobic look. Or if you were on one hole, you didn't really see much of another hole. So.
Got to be nice to have the number of volunteers that have come out to take part in this event for you, because they're just so impressed with the golf that we're seeing.
Yeah. I mean, the volunteers are great, and it doesn't happen without volunteers. It doesn't happen without a great sponsor, with PC Financial. So we're pretty fortunate to. Sorry.
I think you did. That's okay. I think
that's
you
okay.
just finished off.
Okay. Very fortunate to have them involved, and they're great people to work with too. With SDI marketing, I mean, the whole week's been great from a club standpoint. I think the players were happy, the Pro-Am players were happy, and I think everybody had a great time.
What's the next major event that Point Grey is going to be hosting?
I would say probably this tournament coming up next year again. Yeah, for the next 2 years.
Well, that's good to have it here for 2 years, another 2 years after this one. Just goes to show the success for what the course has done.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and like I said, this being the first tournament, we're excited for next year as well.
For all the young golfers that are out there and they want to aspire to try and make to try and make success in the world of golf, if there's one type of advice that you could give them in their golfing game, what would it be?
Good question. Maybe stay patient, try to have fun. A lot of junior golfers, it's becoming more and more almost too serious, too young, and a lot of golfers out there where they're just trying to focus on golf all by itself, where you look at a lot of the tour players, they're very good athletes in other sports as well, to sort of stay more rounded golf-wise, or sport-wise, even though golf might be their favorite sport and what they kind of drift towards. But for the most part, if you're a good junior golfer coming up, don't lose the sense of having fun, right? It's all about having fun, and playing good golf as well. It's always more fun to play good golf, but to have fun and keep the spirit of being a kid is really important. I think just to stay fresh and to the longevity of if you want to be a pro player.
No kidding. Well said. Well, I wish you all the success down the road and good luck down the road the next couple that you're going to be hosting, because we'll be back helping you out.
Excellent. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good job.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Thank you.